Only the heart?
Huh?
Only the heart?
Basically, the heart. It's for the heart.
No, knowledge is more important because with knowledge you can
There
get
you go,
food.
changing it up because of what he said.
No, that's not what he said.
No, I'm just asking. I didn't give a point.
Exactly.
That's your
I
question.
said, I'm thinking about the whole situation. Knowledge, if you got knowledge, you know how to get food.
Nah. So first, you got to determine what knowledge you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge.
Knowledge is vast.
Yeah.
What knowledge? Islamic knowledge or dunya knowledge?
Knowledge.
Depends.
Yeah.
That's going
Which
to
one?
determine
Islamic knowledge, because it's the way
that's
of
going to
life.
determine our answer.
Right.
If y'all talking about dunya
So
knowledge,
good knowledge is Islamic knowledge.
okay. If y'all talking about Islamic knowledge is way more valuable than food, ya ikhwan. Imam Ahmed used to say, rahimahullah ta'ala, that al-ilmu a'la min al-akli wa shurbi. He said knowledge is more honorable than eating and drinking. The companions said, how? His companions. They said, لأن العبد يأكل ويشرب في اليوم 3 مرات أو 4 مرات أكثر شيء. He said, because you eat and drink, the most you eat and drink a day is 3, 4, 5 times a day. قال ولكن تحتاج إلى عمل في كل كلمة وفي كل إشارة وفي كل فعل. He said, but knowledge, you need knowledge every time you open your mouth, every word, every action. So if you compare 3 to 4 times to every time you say something, every time you do something, then knowledge has way more virtues.
So I'm holding more than what you had, huh?
If y'all talking about religious knowledge, well, I know.
And you want to share another food with me?
That's 2 for me. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, la bless
So I
you.
gotta be the bigger brother here and say, yeah, you know, you can use my notes, it's no problem. Even though I'm gonna say that anyway.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الإمام عبد العزيز بن باز رحمه الله تعالى في كتابه نور على درب. So Imam Abdul Aziz ibn Baaz, he continues in his Fataawaa book entitled Nur على درب. قال باب العقيدة الصحيحة هي أصل الدين وأساس الملة. Chapter the correct belief. May Allah give us all the correct belief here. The correct belief is the origin of the religion and the pillar of one's methodology. قال الإمام ابن باز رحمه الله تعالى العقيدة أمر من الأمور وهي أصل الدين وأساس الملة وأهم الأمور وهي أصل الدين وأساس الملة. Sheikh Ibn Baaz, he says that the belief is the most important affair. The most important affair from any affair, ya ikhwan. And it's the origin of one's religion. It's the origin of one's religion. And it's the pillar of one's methodology. نستفيد من هذا يا إخوان. We benefit from that. إذا العبد مثلا يختلف في الفقه لا يخرجه عن الدين أبدا. We benefit from that if a person differs in issues of al-fiqh, the fact that he differs in the issue of al-fiqh would never take him outside of al-Islam. ولكن إذا يخطئ العبد في أمر يتعلق بالعقيدة يمكن أن يخرجه عن هذه الملة. But if a person makes an error, a certain error in the issues of his belief, depending on what it is, then this can take him outside of the religion. قال الإمام وهي التي بدأ بها الرسل عليهم الصلاة والسلام. And the belief is the thing that the messengers and the prophets began with. May the peace and salutation of Allah be upon them. قال أممهم, that they began with when they called their communities, their their nations. وبدأ بها نبينا عليه الصلاة والسلام أمته. And our prophet Muhammad عليه الصلاة والسلام, he began this with his nation also. ماذا أو ما معنى يا إخوان نبينا? What does it mean, our prophet? هل نفهم من هذا أن نوح وعيسى وإبراهيم وموسى ليس من أنبيائنا? When the scholars say our prophet Muhammad, does this mean that Isa and Nuh, Ibrahim, They are not our prophets also? Why do they say our prophet when they say Muhammad?
He's the last messenger.
فهو آخر النبي. فنحن أتونا بعده and we come after him. قال فمكث في مكة بعد النبوة 13 سنة. So he remained in Mecca. How many different ways can you say Mecca يا إخوان في اللغة in the Arabic language? You brothers and sisters studying Arabic, how many different ways can you say Mecca?
2.
نعم ما هما? What are they?
Baka.
ما شاء الله بكة ومكة أحسنت. قال في مكة بعد النبوة 13 سنة. So he dwelled in Mecca, he lived in Mecca after the prophethood عليه السلام for 13 years. يدعو إلى توحيد الله. And in these 13 years, he called to what? He called to the Tawheed of Allah. ما معنى توحيد في اللغة? عبد الحكيم, what does it mean توحيد in the Arabic language?
Oh, making something one.
جعل شيء واحدا, to make something one. وما هو في الشارع عبد الله? What does توحيد mean Islamically?
The oneness with Allah.
No, ما معنى? What does that mean? عبد البان عينه, help him out. What does it mean when it's religious now? In the language it means to make something one. Whatever it is, make it one. What does it mean Islamically?
To worship Allah alone.
And to make Allah one, meaning to worship Allah and Allah alone. ما أقسام التوحيد? Whose turn? Abdul Hakim. How many categories of Tawheed are there?
3.
ما أحدهما يا عبد الله? What's one of them? Abdullah.
Rubiya.
Rububiyyah. Abdul Ba. It's another. لا بأس.
Sifiyat.
أسماء
Asma Sifiyat.
وصفات. Allah's oneness regarding Allah's names and attributes. وثالثها, and the third,
Uluhiyah.
الألوهية. طيب.
Some scholars say it's 4, correct?
Some scholars say 4. ما هو الرابع عند هذا القول? For those that have that opinion, what's the 4th?
The
Okay,
prophet.
just read it too.
The prophets.
What about the prophet? Eh?
Prophethood.
Generally?
Yeah.
Just the prophethood in general?
No,
Something specific? Huh?
that Muhammad is the last prophet
Prophethood.
of the Sunnah.
Yeah, right there, but something more important than that. Al-Mutaba'a. Not that you determine he's a prophet or not that, but you sing him out and follow him.
No.
Al-Mutaba'a. From the verb taba'a, that you, from all the people you follow Muhammad. You don't follow anyone unless that person is in line with the prophet. فحينئذ إذا أنت تتبع محمد وتدعوني إلى شيء وأنا أتبعك لا أتبعك في حق أتبع النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. So in reality, if you're following the prophet and you tell me about something, you inform me about something, and that's in line with the sunnah of the prophet, and I follow you in that, in reality I'm not following you. I'm following who you're following, which is the prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. No. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال طيب. So those that say there are 4 is al-mutaba'a, that you single the Prophet of Allah out in your following. أين الدليل على هذا التقسيم? Where's the proofs from the Quran and Sunnah that shows this breakdown? Who's there? Abdullah. Abdullah. Where's the proof that says Tawheed is 3? There's something called following and examination, studying, doing the research. At-tatabbu' wal-istiqrar. But there's no verse that says Tawheed is 3. There's no hadith that says Tawheed is 3. But when the scholars study the Quran and Sunnah, they find that every time Allah mentions anything about Tawheed, every time the Messenger of Allah mentions anything about Tawheed, is only mentioned in 1 or 3 categories. 1 and 3 examples. And it doesn't go outside of that. وهذا يسمى التتبع والاستقراء. And that's called التتبع والاستقراء. The study and examination. قال والإخلاص له. And he called to worshiping Allah Ta'ala alone and making the religion sincerely for His sake. وَالْإِيمَانِ بِأَسْمَائِهِ وَصِفَاتِهِ, and he called to believe in Allah's names and attributes. وَأَنَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ, and he called to the fact that Allah is the Lord of al-Alameen. ما معنى العالمين يا إخوان؟ عبد الحكيم, what does it mean, عالمين?
All that exists.
All that exists. Allah Ta'ala موجود. Allah exists.
No, under Allah.
Okay. All that exists besides Allah. All that exists besides Allah. قال وأنه طيب. قال وأنه الخلاق العليم, and that He is the true creator and He is the all-knower. وأنه المستحق للعبادة, and He called to the fact that only Allah deserves to be worshipped. إذا العبد يعبد جبريل ما يسمى ذلك الفعل. If someone worships Jibril, Abdullah, what is that action called? He worships Jibril with Allah.
Sure.
أحسنت, هذا الشيء. قال وكانت العرب تعرف أن الله رب العالمين, and the Arabs, they used to know that Allah was the Lord of al-Alameen, وأنه خالقهم, and that He was their creator. ولكنهم يتخذون معه الأنداد والآلهة, but in addition to that, you find that the Arab at that time, they took along with Allah, they worshiped others with Allah from the idols and those false deities. Mina shajari, they will worship trees. Wal hajari, and rocks and stones. Wal asnami, and from the idols. Wa bani Adama, and the children of Adam. Wal jinn, and they worship the jinn. هل يجوز يا إخواني العبد أن يتزوج بالجن? Is it allowed for a servant to marry a jinn? Allah says no. Is it allowed for a man to marry a jinniya, a female jinn?
I don't know. Can't see him or hear him, so I don't know.
عبد الباري. الله أعلم. بعض العلماء يقولون نعم, بعضهم يقولون لا. Some scholars say, as Abdullah says, yes. Some scholars say no.
What's the majority say?
والله أعلم. That's a good question. I haven't learned what the majority says here يا إخوان. هذا لم يقع أبدا. That can never happen. But just from the avenue of knowledge. Is it allowed? بعض العلماء الذين يقولون أنه يجوز.
We already think some of the women are jinn.
Some of the scholars that have that opinion that it's allowed to marry a jinn, يستخدمون الآية, they use the verse where Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Rum, Allah Ta'ala says وَمِنْ آيَاتِ أَنْ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمِنْ آيَاتِ أَنْ جعل لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا. إلى آخر هذه الآية. Allah Ta'ala says, and from His signs is that He made for you from yourselves mates. ما هو الشاهد? What's the point? That He says He made from yourselves mates. So our Sheikh Abdullah Imaam used to say, so this shows that it's not allowed. The jinns are not from our own selves. They're from another creation. So Allah Ta'ala says, from His signs that He created for you from yourselves, mates. His Sheikh Muqbil, has a different opinion. Our Sheikh Muhammad Imaam, he says allowed. His Sheikh, I never studied with Sheikh Muqbil ya Ikhwan. His Sheikh Muqbil, he died before I went to Yemen, rahimahullah. He says it's allowed. He says this verse doesn't show it's haram. It's just Allah saying that this is from His signs. That's strong also.
Proof that says that you can.
And another point that he's bringing was Abdul Bani is saying, to say something is haram, you need something explicit. That's strong, ya ikhwan. To say, no, that's haram, give me a proof. You can't bring nothing general. It has to be detailed.
But that's the ayah there seems to be.
There's no commandment there. There's no prohibition there. Remember the principle. You can't say nothing is obligatory without a command. Either from Allah's Messenger. You can't say nothing is haram without a prohibition. So in this verse, the Shaykh, listen to the ayah, ikhwan. There's no prohibition here. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُم أَزْوَاجًا.
Okay, let's go. The marriage, you have to have witnesses, right?
Let me finish. So in the verse here, If you say it's haram, what has to come next? Prohibition. And from his signs, no prohibition, is that he made from yourselves mates for you to marry.
Right, from yourselves.
There's no prohibition though. To say something is haram,
How about
you need some text. You have to have a prohibition, ya ikhwan.
how about the ayah in the Quran when Allah mentioned that the believing men married the believing women?
No prohibition.
But some just
But,
believe in
but
women
he
too.
didn't say married believing jinn though.
But still, even if you use that, no prohibition, ya ikhwan.
No.
But
Go to the origin. Makes it easy. If you say something is obligatory in Islam, you have to have a command.
What's the idea with those who prohibit to marry? Can you relate?
I can't recall this moment. But that's not.
It was in it. It was all in it.
That's a prohibition. That's not a prohibition. That's in the negative.
Uh-huh.
That's in the negative. That
Prohibition, that tells you who you
no,
can
that
marry.
includes a prohibition is when Allah says don't do.
Right.
That's called the nafiya and the negation. But prohibition is when Allah Ta'ala is forbidding you not to do it directly. This one is called, you have a nafiya and a nahiya. The nahiya is a prohibition. The nafiya is when it's mentioned in the negative. But the jinn is not mentioned there, ya ikhwan.
Okay. But, okay.
Can't see him
Rasul
here,
Sallam and his
maybe,
companion
so-
didn't practice that. He
Exactly. There are many proofs, ya ikhwan, but this is just from the avenue of number one, going back to the origin. If you say something is allowed in our religion, you have to have a command, either from Allah or from His Messenger. Alayhi salatu wasalam. A statement of a companion alone can't show that something is obligatory. Unless all the companions were unanimous in that. You need a command from Allah, from His Messenger. Alayhi salatu wasalam. To say that something is haram, you need a nahiyun min Allahi aw min Rasulillah. You need a prohibition from Allah or His Messenger. Alayhi salatu wasalam. So what the Shaykh is arguing, number one, is that this verse just says that marrying your own selves is from Allah's signs. Second of all, there's not a prohibition. I didn't rate the scholars there for ya ikhwan. There's not a prohibition there on the button.
So I need to do something.
A sister asked a while ago, ya ikhwan, هل لبس الأسود على النساء واجب؟ فنفس الحكم. ارجع إلى الأصل. A sister asked, is wearing black for the woman obligatory? I said, go back to the origin. Go back to the origin. إذا نقول أن شيئا واجبا علينا بالأمر من الله والنبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. If you say something is obligatory, if you memorize this, ya ikhwan, it's going to help you in a lot of issues. To say that something is obligatory, you need a commandment from Allah and His Messenger. طيب. لابس الأسود واجب. طيب. أين الأمر? If you say wearing black for the woman is obligatory, where's your command? What about the hadith? When they said the women came out in the Fajr time to make the salah, they were like crows. The hadith is authentic. طيب. Ain al-amr. Where's the command? When they came out, they came out as if they were crows. There's no command there. والثاني أن هذا اللفظ يحتمل فهمين. Secondly, this expression has two possibilities. They came out, they was as if they were like crows. Could mean that yes, they had on something dark. Black, whatever you want to say, blue, anything dark.
Could have been dark brown.
Could have been dark brown. Could have been dark whatever. That's one possibility. The second possibility has nothing to do with a color,
How they came out.
but how a crow is, where you only can see his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking next. Because it's been veiled.
Yeah. The point, ya ikhwan, anytime you get stuck somewhere, go back to the origin. سئلنا عن الغيبة. We were asked about backbiting. طيب أين الأصل? What's the origin? أن الغيبة حرام من كبائر أو كبيرة من الكبائر. Backbiting, what's the origin of backbiting? It's haram. You can't mention your brother or sister at all when they're not around. That's the origin. Then there's some examples sometimes when yes, you can say this and you can say that. It's still backbiting, but you're not sinful for mentioning it here. Like lying. أصل الكذب ما هو? What's the origin of lying? The origin of lying.
It's prohibited.
Yes, haram.
Yeah.
ولكن في بعض الأحيان يجوز أو العبد لا يكون آثما إذا يكذب. But some instances, a person is not held accountable. It's still lying, but he's not sinful if he lies here. In some instances. But the origin is that it's haram. So you go back to the origin. whatever the issue is. It's going to help you tremendously.
Like being in a court and swearing on the Bible, you don't have to tell the truth when you swear on the Bible, correct?
If a person swears on the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
the Muslim is supposed to speak the truth anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm.
But I'm just saying, just in
If
general.
he swears on the Bible, you know, all he has to say, especially in the West, is I'm Muslim,
No.
or this is not my holy book. You know, some of the court, they didn't have knowledge of Islam. They see you dressed, they see you kufi. They say, no, give him the Quran. Or they say, you swear, or you acknowledge to tell the truth, the whole truth, something like that. That's allowed.
Can you do that?
That's allowed to swear on the Quran.
They can.
Yeah, you can do it here.
Anything from the attributes of Allah.
Okay.
You know, you can swear, I swear by the words of Allah. That means by Allah. I swear by the mercy of Allah. Meaning by Allah. But it has to go back to Allah.
Name who sends my soul.
I said, Hadith Abi Hurairah. I swear by the one that
Well,
my
the
soul
one
is in his
say,
hand.
you know, he does, because he planned on telling a lie, so he puts his hand on the Bible. He feels though he's okay since he didn't.
Since they didn't do it.
Yeah, since he didn't.
But see, number one,
swear on
if
the Quran.
he's not saying that, it could fall into shirk. Also.
I
If
mean,
he
he lying anyway though.
and it's like have a double.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he lying. And if he doesn't believe, yeah, that's something trickery, danger, ikhwan. Because if he's acknowledging that that book is not the words of Allah,
But you have the permission. It's permissible to lie to save yourself, to save your life.
yeah,
right?
certain instances
Yeah.
that it's still lying, but you're not sinful. You're not
So
held
I'm facing
accountable.
life sentence.
That's different.
I'm a lie. If they gon' I tell the truth, they
Like shake-
gonna
When some of the Imams in the time
Yeah.
of the issue of the خلق القرآن, was the Quran created or not, بعض الأئمة في هذه الحالة يجوز لهم أن يكذبوا ولكن لم يكذبوا. In this situation, it was allowed for those scholars and those individuals who were being tested with that to lie, but those scholars still didn't lie.
Sure they-
Some of them would say, when they would be forced, they would be beaten severely, is the Quran created? And some of them would say, verily it is created. Verily it is created. And they would hold their finger out while they're saying it. And they would say, verily it is. Yes, it is created. In their heart, they're intending their hand. That's not a lie.
Okay.
That's like someone comes in and say, hey, you seen Abu Abdullah? And you slide over and say, mashallah, he was just right here. You didn't lie. They call it the brother of lying. They say, oh, mashallah, you seen the brother? And they say, man, he was just right here, doc. Mashallah. He didn't lie. You was just right there. You don't got to say you're him. So you didn't lie. They call that the akhul kadhib, the brother of lying. For example. Two brothers are arguing. Abdullah and Abdul Hakim, they arguing. So you say, man, you should forgive the brother. He said, man, I'm not talking to him. He said, man, by Allah, I heard him making dua for you on the salah. He said, you did? Yes, I heard him. And you heard him making tashahud, where he makes dua for every Muslim.
Yeah.
So he's included in that.
That's true.
So you didn't lie.
That's not a lie.
That's called the brother of lying. No. Your wife comes down the steps with a dress that's not really too attractive. She thinks it's nice. She says, hey, honey, كيف أنا الآن? She says, how am I now? And you say, mashallah, that's the prettiest thing I've ever seen. And you look somewhere that's pretty. She thinks you're talking about her. Alhamdulillah. Or you look somewhere else, oh, that's beautiful. You're that. It's talking about the picture. She thinks that is talking about the dress. You didn't lie. That's called the brother of lying. No. طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال وغير ذلك, and other than that فبين لهم النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام أن العبادة حق الله وحده. So the Prophet of Allah clarified for them that worship is from the rights of Allah and His right alone. وأن الواجب عليهم إخلاص العبادة لله وحده. And he clarified for them that the obligation upon them was to worship Allah and Allah alone, making the religion sincerely for His sake and for Him alone. وقال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يا قوم قولوا لا إله إلا الله تفلحوا. أخرجه الإمام أحمد والحديث صحيح. He said the Prophet of Allah used to say, O my people, say no, none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, and you will be successful. مثل هذا الحديث يا إخوان يبين لنا أن وجود الشهداء لمن يريد أن يتشهد ليس بواجب. The likes of this hadith show that at the time someone wants to become a Muslim, Having witnesses for that is not obligatory. There's no hadith that the Prophet said, ho, bismillah, hayya, aina shuhada. When the Prophet would say, before you become Muslim, we need witnesses. Now in this regard, there's not a hadith that mentions, that the people of knowledge mention, that from the conditions of someone's acceptance of their shahada, that you have to have witnesses. This hadith is authentic.
Say it again.
The likes of this hadith, sometimes the Prophet would go to the marketplace. And he would say, Ya ashabu suq, qulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu. And he would say, oh inhabitants of the market, say none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, and you will be successful. Many hadith that says that. Or a man comes to the Prophet of Allah and says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Where's the hadith that he would say, you need witnesses? Gather the witnesses. Another benefit, ya ikhwan, where's the hadith that many of us think, one time at this masjid, our brother wanted to become Muslim. The brother said, oh, I have to say it first, and you have to say it after me. That's not a condition. We made that up. That's from us. The ayat don't say, no, you say it first, and then she says it. Many hadith, the person will come and say, Ashhadu an la ilaha. The Prophet didn't say anything. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. So now you're going to say, wait, I think I gotta say it first, and then I just said it. Yeah, I gotta say it before you. Where's that from in Islam? We made that up. There are many things that wallah. Could be a bid'ah, but could be.
They don't know. They wouldn't know how to say it in Arabic.
How do you know? Maybe you're right. Maybe they don't. هل قولها بالعربية شرط?
Let me say this. Do they have to say in Arabic?
Is saying in Arabic شرط a condition? If the person says, I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. هل هذا يكفي? Is that allowed? Is that suffice? إذا يفهم هذا, if he knows what he's saying, understands it, ويصدق قلبه, and his heart is truthful, what his tongue utters, that's correct. هذا ليس بشرط. لا يمكننا أن نأتي بشرط ليس بشرط. We can't come with a condition that's not a condition. إذا نقول أنه شرط فأين دليل? If you say it's a condition, where's the proof? أين هذا من كتاب الله ومن سنة النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام? Where is this condition in the book of Allah? And where is this condition in the sunnah of the messenger of Allah? Many of the conditions we made up. If someone would just say, hey, يا أخي هذا خير الحمد لله وجميل كله بارك الله فيكم ولكن من علمك هذا؟ من أين أنت من كتاب الله وسنة النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام? Someone is talking, their speech is nice. Alhamdulillah, sounds good. Farrakhan is a great speaker. He speaks good. But when you listen, the more you're like, what are you talking about? The more you listen, you're like, man, that's a great word right there. He uses some nice words. If you're a student of a language, he uses some words. MashaAllah. But the more you listen, you be like, hey, what are you talking about? At any rate, now you may say, hey, excuse me, that sounds nice. May Allah reward you. Someone is giving a lesson. Any tremendous benefit. Where's your proof? Something that, wallahi, we miss Sheikh Albani and the scholars like Sheikh Albani in his time. الذين كانوا يحثون الناس على أخذ بالأدلة. Those scholars, especially at that time, Sheikh Uthaymeen, Sheikh Muqbil, Sheikh Albani, Sheikh Ibn Baaz, Sheikh Muhammad Ibn Ibrahim, the great Sheikh from Africa, Umar Falata, rahimahumullah. They were famous. We sleep on the African scholars there, because their thobe is not as nice, not as clean, not as princey looking. Like in Saudi, mashallah, they real princey looking, if I can say that. Real clean. In Saudi, if you spill something on your thobe, even if you're a visitor, you're not going to wear that thobe all day. No. You're going to feel strange. Abdulban is making umrah. If someone spills something on his thobe, everyone else around him looks like a prince. He goes, I'll be right back here. I'm going to change my thobe. You know what I mean? That's just how the custom is.
Man, I'll be crisp.
At any rate, you're not going to see nobody sweating in Saudi. Never. The poor people look like kings and princes. Like some of the African scholars, names that wallahi ikhwan, we have to read some of their words. Sheikh Muhammad Aman al-Jami, Sheikh Omar Falata, great scholars of Africa, mashallah. One of the greatest memorizers you're ever going to read about. Some that pit the memorizers of today, and you name the country, to shame. Scholars that memorize not Bukhari, Muslim alone, almost every hadith book out. If it's a hadith book, the man learned it. Go to Western Africa. Now, some of them are upon innovation also. You have to be careful there in some parts of the land. But then you also have to understand what's the innovation that they were upon too. That's something else that we skip. Sometimes the man is on the sunnah, but he fell into one thing. And his one thing is what? That he prefers Ali over Uthman. He's not saying Ali is more virtuous than Uthman. He's saying to him, يُفَضِّلُ عَلِيًّا عَلَى Uthman. وَهَذِي يُخَالِفُ سُنَّةَ الصَّحَابَةِ. So he's saying that Ali is more virtuous, in his opinion. His opinion, not mine. His opinion. He's saying that to him, Ali is more virtuous. That one thing. At any rate, he's contradicting the understanding of the companions. As none of the companions said that. They said, as Ali said himself. He said that we used to say, in the time of Abu Bakr and Umar, we used to say that Abu Bakr was the best after the Prophet of Allah. And then Umar, and then someone would say, and then you, and then you. And he would say, Wallahu alam. Sometimes some narrations. And some narrations would say, La, thumma Uthman. And then he would say, and then you. And then he would be quiet. So this man here is contradicting one point. So you can say, yes, that's innovation. Yes. But sometimes you gotta look at what's the innovation, ikhwan, too. Another thing that we forget, that's the issue of hadith, inshallah, is allowed to take hadith from a person who may be an innovator. That's a whole nother lecture. That's allowed in the science of hadith. If he's not calling to his innovation, and he's the only one that has this hadith, and the other narrators are affirming what he's saying, yes, you take that. In hadith, you take that. But nowadays, a person may not even be an innovator. He just differs with you. So now, anyone who differs with you, may Allah forbid, stay away from him, stay away from her. What's the issue? You just gotta trust me out. Nowadays, but the problem is that none of us are really asking. Anyone can say anyone. Don't study, don't read that book. I remember one of our brothers, Abdullah, was talking to a brother in this masjid. And a book was mentioned. We were praying, alhamdulillah, and I was honored what the brother Abdullah said. Alhamdulillah. Made me feel nice in my heart. The brother, somebody mentioned someone's name that I won't mention, it's not important. One of the authors. The brother said, we can't take from that book. So our beloved brother Abdullah stood up and defended. He said, hey, you mentioned he's a deviant. What makes him a deviant? And wallahi, the brother said like most brothers say. I don't even know. He said something like that.
But you gonna label him a deviant, but you don't know.
These are words that Shaykh al-Damin and the scholars of Al-Islam, they never rush to use. Well, I wish we listened to more Shaykh al-Damin's lessons nowadays and read more of his books today. It would seem like he's talking about, he died over 2001, ya ikhwan, 2002, 14, 15 years ago, 17 years ago. What's that, ya ikhwan? 18 years ago. Like, at any rate, it's like he's talking about now. You can apply what he's saying today, but we don't do it.
He's slick too.
You don't really see people referring back to what Shaykh al-Damin said. It would eliminate a lot of these issues, ya ikhwan. He was a wise sheikh. You just couldn't come to him and say, yeah, sheikh, what do you say about somebody that says this? He would say, where's your CDs? Where's your tapes? Where's your books that he said it? And then did you go to him to make sure he understood what he said? And then did you listen to his proofs upon why he said it? You'd be like, mashallah, that's a wise sheikh. Nowadays, some of the scholars of today, you go to them, sheikh, we have someone who says A, B, and C. And the sheikh, without verifying it, he just comments on it. Well, if what you're saying is true, then A, B, and C, and D. But sometimes the person that's asking that question has an evil, malicious intent. He's trying to get a general ruling to make something specific on this person. For example, I remember that happened when I was a new Muslim in a state that I won't mention, I used to live in. And there was a brother who was teaching us. Well, he was teaching at that time. And he never claimed to be knowledgeable, never claimed to be a student of knowledge. Alhamdulillah, he never said that about himself. He was trying his best. He began to read some of the books. Somehow, he made a mistake in this and this and this about something. Some of the other students said, we can't take from him because Sheikh Ubaid said. So one of the brothers there knew some Arabic. Allahu Akbar. got Sheikh Ubay's number, recorded it, contacted the Sheikh. You hear the Sheikh's voice come on, his scratchy voice, Hafidullah. Naam. They said, Assalamu alaikum ya Sheikh, this is such and such from America. I have one question, sorry to bother you. Record it. You hear the Sheikh, tafaddal, proceed. Someone said that you said that we can't take knowledge from brother such and such and such and such from America. Did you say that? Sheikh said, I don't even know who that man is. Sheikh, you never said that? Sheikh said, I've never heard that name before in my life. Shukran ya Sheikh. You hear the phone hangs up and everything. Now they take the recording back to student such and such and such and such. You said that the Sheikh said, here's the Sheikh denying that. The brother said, no, we didn't ask the Sheikh. We didn't mention the brother name. We just mentioned a general statement. So you try to take something general and apply it specific. And that goes on a lot. Go back to those Abu Muslima days. Our Sheikh Abu Muslima from East Orange, New Jersey, who's still calling to the da'wah today. Whatever your position is against him, that's not my argument. I'm not against the brother. I don't agree with everything I ever heard him say. But the man is holding. Memorizing wise. One of the brothers, the few brothers that you sit in their lessons, is going to encourage you with memorizing the book of Allah. Who talks about memorizing Quran nowadays? You can go a whole month of Jumu'ah in almost any masjid you choose, and you're not going to hear an encouragement of memorizing the book of Allah. You're not going to hear an encouragement of memorizing the hadith of the Messenger ﷺ. You're going to hear the movies. You're going to hear these stories. You're going to hear this and this and this. You're barely going to hear احفظوا القرآن احفظوا أحاديث ادرسوا العربية ادرسوا الفقه ادرسوا. You're barely going to hear that. And whatever your argument, that's your argument. We can defend another time and argue about that another time, ya ikhwan. At any rate, 10 years later, 15 years later, after the whole incident, when they said the Sheikh made some mistakes and like this and like that, and this Sheikh corrected him. 15 years later, you go to East Orange, New Jersey today, and you sit in his class today. He still calls to the Da'wah al-Salafiyya, Da'wah al-Hadithiyya, Da'wah Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah today. You can't say, oh, the man is not on the Sunnah. Okay, you're known for what you're called to. You sit there, you be your own judge. You don't have to take. Don't take it. That's no problem. But you can't say something is not what it is. If you witness it, you say, Alhamdulillah. I may not listen to him, but the man he calls to Quran and Sunnah. And that's something that many of us, ikhwan, I don't understand how you have brothers who are trying to be on the Sunnah and other brothers who are trying to be on the Sunnah to the best of their ability, who are reading the same books. You go to Philly, they're teaching the same books that we're teaching. You go to Delaware, they're teaching the same books, calling to the same ulama. It's not like this one is Ikhwani and this one is Hadithi, or this one is Shi'i and this one is Khariji. That's different. Two opposing beliefs. Of course, that's different. To you, he's a disbeliever. To you, he's a disbeliever. Of course you're going to clash. But to you, your belief is the same as his belief. The principles of it. His belief is the same as her belief. The principles of it. The books that you read from are the same books they're reading from. From the same ulama. Calling to the same methodology. But you can't take from her. She can't take from him. You can't pray behind him. She can't. And then you have the people who are truly upon innovation sitting back, yadhakun, laughing. And wallahi, that's true. Go to Philly, go to the Ahmadiyya Masjid. Laughing. And they say, look, they say we're not on the Sunnah. Look, he doesn't even give him salams. But they're on the same methodology. She won't sit with her. But their belief is the correct belief. They're laughing. You go to 43rd Street, where they have a whole another Qibla direction. Laughing. And wallahi, I don't understand, ya ikhwan. It's not the Sunnah. It's the people who are claiming, either we don't understand what we claim to follow, or we're not really learning the way we are claiming to learn. Everyone's a sheikh already. We're not taking time out to learn the book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger of Allah and the Arabic language especially, so we can get into the books. We're not doing that. And I think until we start doing that, ya ikhwan, the issue is going to get worse and worse and worse. Now the people are trying to take the mistakes of the scholars. Forget pointing at the mistakes of your brother and sister. Now we're going behind ulama, pointing out when the scholars have made error. Who's going to look at the statement of Imam Ahmed talking about the scholars, the flesh of the ulama is poison. Who's going to understand that? Even if the sheikh says that, okay, go to him. If you believe he's made a mistake, alhamdulillah, go to him, contact him, get his email, get his phone number, discuss it. If you're right, he's going to be the first one to say, Jazakallah khairan. But maybe he has some adillah that maybe you don't know about. Maybe what you think you understand, you're not understanding it correctly. As I remember lastly, when I stopped here, the sheikh from Kuwait, the big sheikh, Muhammad Anjari, Hafidullah Ta'ala, he said the brothers in the West, some of them have some knowledge with them. He said some of them have memorized some principles. He said, but the way they apply these principles is wrong. A brother may learn authentic hadith or a statement from one of the Salaf, but how he's applying it. One time a brother was seen giving another brother salams, and the one he was giving salams to was allegedly an innovator. He gave him salams. By the time that he gave the salams, someone else was walking past. So they mentioned the statement of one of the great Salaf, not to sit with an innovator. He said, this has a meaning. If you're giving him da'wah, you're not sitting with him. That's number one. You're giving him da'wah to something. He said, here I was giving him the salams. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Pew. Oh, the brother sits with Ahlul Bid'ah. Where am I sitting with him? He gave him salam. Assalamu alaikum. So my point is, ikhwan, many of the people have learned a text or two, alhamdulillah, but you look at how you're applying it. I remember when I first came to this masjid here, or around the corner, and the brother said, hey, no, you can't. When I first met the brothers there, some years ago, the brother said, no, those brothers upon innovation. Alhamdulillah, we're teaching the sunnah, inshallah. He says, you can't be there. I said, what do you mean I can't be there? I said, those brothers asked me to come. I didn't ask them, can I do anything? Those brothers asked me, can I come? Teach the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, to the best of my ability. I asked them what the scholars say. Those scholars that we all refer to. I quoted them. The brother said, what do you mean? I said, I asked them, هل عندنا شروط? Do you give me any conditions that I have to abide by? Those brothers at the time said, no. I said, can I teach whatever I want to teach? Those brothers said, yes. I said, no shurut, muqayyada, nothing restricted. I don't got to water nothing down. I don't got to watch my tongue here. I can't quote from this scholar here. I can't refer to this madhab here. He said, no. You teach us. At that time, there was no other classes going on. There was only 2 classes, and I was doing them both. I said, so what's the problem? Those scholars say, and I quoted Sheikh Salim al-Hilali, when we asked him years ago, he said, if someone asks you to teach the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, with no conditions, no restrictions, then run there and teach them. Run. I said, I did that. We started the next day. So what's your problem? And then the brothers, when you get them in a corner, they still don't apologize and take nothing back. It's like they have no empathy. They just can say whatever. Even when you get them trapped. You know, even a dog is going to make that little noise when he's in a corner. You know he's jammed up now. Most of us don't even do that. You're right, Akh. Anything I said, I take it back. If I made some incorrections, let me make taraji' upon them. Let me take them back and correct them. We don't get into that. I don't know, ya ikhwan. I pray Allah Ta'ala allows us to truly learn the sunnah of the Messenger ﷺ and not be so fast to criticize everyone. Sheikh Mukbul used to say in West Africa, ikhwan, لا تقولوا عن شيء أو لا تقولوا لشخص أنه على السنة حتى تتأكد أنه على السنة. The Sheikh used to say, don't say anyone is on the sunnah. Anyone. Unless you know for a surety, with no doubt, that he's on the sunnah. Because you're going to be questioning Yawm al-Qiyamah. ولا تقولوا عن شخص أنه ليس على السنة حتى تتأكد أنه ليس على السنة. And do not say about someone that he is not on the sunnah unless you know for surety that he's not on the sunnah. Because you're going to be questioning Yawm al-Qiyamah. Wallahi, that's true, ya ikhwan. But we don't care with our words, or we fail to realize that one day نُسْأَلُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ, that we're going to be questioned by Allah about everything that we say. Those people that chase people away from the masajid, those people that chase people away from the sunnah. The man is coming to learn the sunnah, and you say, get out of here, akhi. You can't learn here. And he's coming to learn the sunnah. MashaAllah. And just suppose, may Allah forbid, you chase this individual away. You got to stand Yawm al-Qiyamah for that. Someone came to you to learn the sunnah. You claim to be on the sunnah, and you fled him away from learning the sunnah of the Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam. It's like we forget that one day we're going to be stood up in front of Allah Ta'ala. وَنُسْأَلُ عَنْ أَعْمَالِنَا وَأَقْوَالِنَا وَإِيمَانِنَا وَأَخْلَاقِنَا. And we're going to be questioned about our statements, our actions, our belief, and our behaviors. There's a principle that if we don't believe that, then we have some deficiencies in our belief. طيب فنكتفي بهذا واستعب ده يا إخوان وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. For our brothers and sisters online, we'll stop there and we'll continue tomorrow. بإذن الله الرحمن الرحيم وجزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
That's kind of class right there, bro.
السلام.
I know the statements of the ulama. When you start venting and ranting, bro.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
You start ranting and venting, I'm good.
One of the brothers, someone said, "Walaikum salam alaikum. Can you give an example of the ayah of prohibition?" What's the ayah that has a prohibition, Ikhwan?
Surah Al-Ma'idah.
What's the verse?
3. We prohibit eating what you can eat, what you can't eat, stuff like that.
Allah Ta'ala says, إن ربكم حرم ربكم عليكم الفاحشة ما ظهر منها وما بطن. Al-ayah, Allah Ta'ala says, say to the Muhammad that verily your Lord has prohibited al-fahisha, those evil lowly actions, that which is apparent and that which is hidden. What's another ayah, Ikhwan? Allah Ta'ala says something that has a prohibition therein. Give me another clearer one, Ikhwan. Allah Ta'ala says في سورة الإسراء ولا تقولوا لألسنتكم ولا تقولوا لألسنتكم هذا حرام وهذا حلال لتفتري على الله تعالى الكذبة أو كما قال الله تعالى to the end of the verse. Allah Ta'ala says, and do not say with your tongues that this is halal and that's haram, trying to invent a lie upon Allah. Anything that has a prohibition either from Allah or the Messenger.
Any ayat of associating partners with Allah, he always prohibited that.
No, Allah Ta'ala says في سورة النساء وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Allah Ta'ala says, and worship Allah and Allah alone, وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا, and do not ascribe partners with Him in anything. Anything that has a prohibition. No, there are many ikhwan. That's it. Can you give an example? We did that. Allah musta'an. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless you also. And the disease of blind following is scary. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is how S-pubs got hold of the dawah, by lying upon the scholars, and because we don't know the Arabic language. Yes. And in the UK. May Allah forgive some of us who were victims of labeling people before due to corrupt teachers. And that's another point, ya ikhwan. Sometimes when you don't verify and you put trust in a person, maybe your shaykh, your imam, or your teacher, and you don't know what they're saying is correct or not. But what happens is that usually you start quoting them. Like nowadays, especially in America, you only see this in America, where out of all the scholars we have, and I'm not saying that many students aren't doing a good job giving da'wah. I've heard someone quote me. I've heard someone quote Abdullah Brother Mufti. I heard someone quote Tahir. I heard someone quote, alhamdulillah, you can quote people, that's not my point. But now we begin to memorize the words of students. And we're beginning to forsake the scholars. Even the lectures of the ulama, you don't really find people listening to the ulama now. Now it's just student after student after student, or da'i after da'i, or a layman after layman after layman. We're reducing the knowledge. First it was scholar after scholar after, first it was imam of the salaf. You had to have your salaf. Then it was the imams of hadith. We start getting away. Then it was the imams of later times. Then it was the scholars of today. Now forget the scholars, now it's students. Then it's forget the students, now it's quoting your imams. Then it's forget quoting your imams, now we're quoting the layman. Like we're making the tanaqus. We're reducing the level of knowledge. The point is sometimes when you don't verify and you don't know what the person is really saying it to be authentic or not, you begin to quote it.
Sound like that was prophesied.
It was many hadith. Many hadith. At any rate, the point is before you quote anything, especially if you're reading it in English, that's another lie that many of us do. When we say the Prophet of Allah said, and we say it in English, that's a lie upon the Prophet. We have to say the meaning of what the Prophet said, or the translation of what the Prophet said, for example, to be more accurate and to protect ourselves on Qiyamah. And also, the point is when someone says something, ikhwan, try your best to verify it. Try your best to verify it. Before you refer or quote anything, first make sure it's authentic. Make sure it's correct. Make sure it's being used in the proper place. No. And do not go close to illegal relations. Yes, that's correct. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. And do not go close to relations that has a prohibition. No.
You say you can do a gin.
Huh?
You say it's permissible to do a gin.
No. Some scholars say it's not to marry a jinn.
Hey, but
Huh?
Yeah.
you know,
Some people,
I ain't gonna mention no names,
some of the scholars have that opinion.
but I'm gonna look at the party.
Some scholars have that opinion.
Yeah, Abdullah.